on. My first guest speaker is Tom Griffin. Know Tom well. Tom is a fellow Rotarian, obviously, and he's the current president of Rotary in Great Britain and Ireland at the moment. Another 2 months to go, Tom, just like me. He's a Scotsman. He's lived in Scotland until 1986, before moving to Essex. He attended school just outside Glasgow before going to Glasgow Uni, where he studied to become a solicitor. He moved south of the border for work in chief exec roles at Malden District Council, and later chief exec role again in Suffolk Coastal District Council. Tom is married to Deirdre and both now retired. He likes reading with a particular interest in history and enjoys listening to classical music. He lives on the edge of Constable Country, a beautiful part of the world, so I'm told. I haven't had a visit yet, but hopefully after COVID I will, where he and Deirdre enjoy walking. So over to you, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you very much, District Governor Angela. Thank you, and thank you very much for the invitation to your virtual conference this afternoon. Virtual conference. Never thought I'd be attending a District 1230 conference while sitting in my dining room in Suffolk. It's been a strange year, hasn't it? A difficult one. But you know, despite the disruption, the loss, the tragedy, the trouble and the concern, there are many positives for Rotary. Most clubs have shown themselves to be adaptable, to be willing to embrace new ways of doing things. Rotary has responded magnificently to community needs during the pandemic, helping the housebound, supporting food banks, buying computers for kids studying at home, buying PPE, and more recently, helping at mass vaccination centres. And our great contribution to local communities is at last being recognised. And in the community as a whole, we've seen that community spirit, the willingness to volunteer to help those in need, is not dead. So where does that take us? What are the lessons from Rotary and lockdown? The first is that we must be ready to grasp the opportunities these positives offer. We need to be clear about what we are trying to achieve and how we're going to achieve it. You've just heard RI President Holger Kanak say that he wants all clubs to hold an annual strategic meeting. I think that kind of strategic thinking and planning is vitally important, and particularly important now. And if you haven't already done so, I would encourage clubs to do so. With any luck, we shall soon be able to meet, among other things, the way we used to. And we need to be thinking about how we are going to do our Rotary once lockdown ends, once we can go back to something like normal. And I say this because the COVID pandemic has been a massively disruptive event, the sort of event like major wars or massive technological change. We cannot expect the post-COVID world to look the same as it did in 2019. We cannot expect the post-COVID Rotary world to look the same as it did in 2019. And as we start to see the end of lockdown, we need to be thinking about what we have learned from the last few months and what that means for our club. So that's the first lesson I take from our current situation. The second is that we mustn't become so preoccupied with COVID that we forget the bigger Rotary picture. First and foremost, we must continue the fight to eradicate polio. We must remember that however close we are, however wonderful it is that the World Health Organization's Africa region is free of the wild polio virus, the task is not finished. And unless we finish the job, the disease will return. It should be a matter of pride to us that elements of infrastructure put in place for polio eradication have proved immensely valuable during the COVID pandemic. Elements such as disease surveillance systems, and strategies for disease control in remote communities. It's understandable that clubs' fundraising activities have suffered badly during the pandemic, but one of the consequences has been that contributions from Britain and Ireland to end polio now are about 20% down compared with the previous year. Somehow we must turn that round. 30 odd years ago, we made a promise to the children of the world. We must see through on that promise. So much has been achieved. Let's not waste that achievement. The third lesson I take from our current situation relates to our membership. Now, I make no apology for banging on about membership. Without members, we cannot bring to the world the benefits of our service. Unless we continually refresh our membership, we will stagnate, shrink, and cease to be an effective force in our communities. And you know, that's a real risk. Last Rotary year, in Britain and Ireland, we lost almost 2,000 members. That's the equivalent of an entire district. In fact, it's more than many districts in Britain and Ireland. And the average age of our membership continues to rise. Moreover, 30 years after we welcomed women into Rotary, only about 17% of Rotarians in Britain and Ireland are female, and our overall record of diversity in membership is poor. Now, I've said to a lot of people in Rotary in the last year, I have no particular problem with white British males aged over 70 because I am one. And RI President Holger is equally obviously right when he says there is no wrong age to be a Rotarian. But clubs, which are largely composed of Rotarians past normal retirement age, are inevitably likely to be less active, to struggle to find members willing to accept club office, and are certainly not likely to be attractive to potential young Rotarians. Individuals of the age I was when I joined Rotary nearly half a lifetime ago. That's a potentially bleak picture. But you know, I'm optimistic about our future. And I'm optimistic for 3 reasons. The first is Rotarians today have an unrivaled opportunity to breathe life into what I always think of as the forgotten avenue of Rotary service, vocational service. We have in our membership an enormous and largely untapped reservoir of business and professional knowledge and experience at a time when our economy is facing perhaps its biggest challenge for 90 years. We have the opportunity to use those skills to create and support, for example, social enterprise initiatives, an opportunity to demonstrate just what we have to offer to our local communities, to meet real need. I've already alluded to my second reason for optimism, the fact that during the pandemic, so many people have discovered the joy of volunteering. What an opportunity that is for Rotary. And remember, on the 7th and 8th of May, Rotary GB&I is hosting Volunteer Expo, a showcase for the whole of the volunteer sector in this country, with Rotary at the heart of it. It's an opportunity for Rotarians to connect with the voluntary sector, and for people who are already motivated to volunteer to understand just what more Rotary can offer. It's online, it's free, and I encourage you to register for it and to attend. Fine, you may say. But in the past few decades, we've really been poor at bringing in younger members. Why should things change now? You may make the point that you do not need to join a club and pay dues to give service to your community. You do not have to join a club and pay dues to be connective. So why join Rotary? The answer is that Rotary has so much more to offer. It opens to members the opportunity to serve not just your own community, but nationally and internationally. It opens to members the opportunity of being part of a truly global family. It opens to members the opportunity to harness the power and reach of the Rotary Foundation so as massively to increase the impact of their service at home as well as overseas. As Holger mentioned a moment or two ago, surveys of younger people indicate that they are as keen to give something back to society as any other generation, that they welcome mentoring, and significantly that they want to be part of something big and of a global rather than a purely local perspective. Doesn't that sound like Rotary? So why have we failed so badly to refresh and rejuvenate our membership? I think it's because too often we inadvertently put obstacles in the way of younger people joining. Obstacles in terms of the time and cost commitment we expect. Obstacles in the form of clubs whose style and culture strikes a potential younger member as old-fashioned. So when we look to life after lockdown, we need to be asking ourselves, is our club attractive to the next generation of Rotarians? If the answer is yes, that's great. If it's no, or maybe, then what are we going to do about it? Can we make our club more attractive to this potential younger generation? Because if we can't, then I believe clubs should be looking to start new clubs which are attractive to this potential younger generation of new Rotarians. And the options are there. We have so much more flexibility now in how Rotary works, how clubs can run themselves. We can start a satellite club with 8 members. We no longer need to wait until we have 20 members so that we can charter an entirely new club. We have new models. Clubs which meet informally, clubs which are less demanding on members' time or pocket, clubs which are more family friendly, clubs which are focused on the kind of service their members want, cause-based clubs. The challenges, the obstacles which stand in the way of younger people joining us can easily be overcome. I believe we need to set ourselves the target of ensuring that there is a vibrant, active club in each of our significant communities. All that is needed is to find a small group of interested people and help them to grow a new club. It can be done. It has been done. My third reason for optimism lies in Rotary GBNI's new direct membership initiative. People who are attracted by the prospect of Rotary but can't find a club which suits their lifestyle can join effectively direct at minimal cost and hopefully find others in their neighborhood with whom they can get together to start a new club. There is so much that clubs can and need to do to grasp the opportunities open to us today to refresh and revitalize Rotary. But of course, in addition, districts and Rotary GBNI need to be as effective as possible in providing the leadership, guidance, encouragement, and support to clubs which are contributing to this effort, and indeed in taking the initiative themselves to create new clubs. For that reason, Rotary GB&I is taking two initiatives. First, we're encouraging districts to work together and to share resources where they find it difficult because of our declining numbers to fill all the posts they are expected to fill. Rotary GB&I cannot, of course, legislate to make districts cooperate, and so the pace at which districts will work together will be determined by the districts themselves, dependent on their own circumstances. And this therefore will be an evolutionary process with different areas moving at different speeds. Second, the Rotary GB&I Governing Council will be recommending to the business meeting on 21st of May a significant reform of Rotary GB&I's governance. Our current governing body is too big, has practically no continuity year on year, and constituted as it is mainly of serving district governors, for most of its members, Governing Council is a second job, a distraction from their important principal job of leading their district. The resolution coming before the business meeting proposes we establish an entirely new governing body, one much more fit to enable Rotary GB&I to take a strategic, multi-year approach to the issues facing Rotary in these islands, principally the issue of membership. Details of what is proposed have been sent out to club secretaries and can be found under events in the Rotary GB&I website. I encourage all clubs to make sure their voting delegates are registered and that they attend the meeting, listen to the debate, and please support these proposals. We stand at a threshold for our great organization. The COVID pandemic throws up a myriad of problems, but also a host of opportunities. Let us grasp them. Holger Knack chose as his theme for this year, Rotary opens opportunities, and how appropriate that is. Rotary opens up to us the opportunity to be part of a worldwide group of people who share our values, our ideals, and a code of ethics to which we adhere in our personal and business lives. It opens up to us opportunities for fun, fellowship, satisfaction in doing good, personal growth, the opportunity to exercise leadership in our clubs and in our communities. It has opened and continues to open to millions throughout the world the opportunity to go to school, to have access to medical services, to have access to clean water. And it has opened and will continue to open to millions throughout the world the greatest opportunity of all, the opportunity of life itself. Thank you for inviting me this afternoon. Thank you for listening. Stay well, good luck, and let's grow Rotary together. Thank you.